What's up, everybody? This video, we're going to watch this, Why You Shouldn't Eat Fiber, The Dangers of Too Much Fiber, with a whopping 127 views. I generally try to not do videos about people who aren't, like, well-known YouTubers, but whatever, who asked me to do this one? Thomas H. Here's a video to review that should get some steady overtime. Generally the videos that do best on my channel are not the ones by like no-name YouTubers, no offense to the Prout brothers, but the ones that actually do the best, or I guess not surprisingly, are the ones that are done by famous YouTubers. It's like, my channel is now the equivalent of like People Magazine, right? Or like the National Enquirer, basically, but less trashy. Oh, my neck hurts. Okay, anyway, let's watch this. Why you shouldn't eat too much fiber.
We've all heard that you need plenty of fiber in your diet. Fiber is supposed to be healthy for you, right? We hear everybody talk about how beneficial it is for you and how much it helps your gut. But if you've been following our channel, you will know that I've been dealing with digestive issues for a while now. I've constantly been trying to figure out what is wrong with myself. Why can I not digest foods properly? All I want is to be able to eat a normal diet. That's all I've ever wanted. While on this roller coaster of different diets that I've tried, I've constantly been eliminating foods, reintroducing foods, trying to see what foods cause inflammation and what doesn't. Now, something that is tossed around in the vegan community is that everyone does not get enough fiber. And you can't have too much fiber. There are people who are eating over 100 grams of fiber per day. Now, they seem like they are good because they have a healthy digestive system. But let me tell you, they are slowly destroying their gut. If your gut is already damaged and you try to eat 100 grams of fiber per day like I did, you will find that too much fiber...
Alright, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know anything about him. Is he vegan? Was he vegan? What's the... Let's see here. I guess he's not vegan anymore. It looks like pulled pork or brisket. Okay, yeah, so like let's solve the mystery here. Do you really need fiber? Okay, so why do people say fiber is good? Is because the full sentence there is really fiber is probably better. Foods with a lot of fiber is probably better than what you're eating. Or I guess more specifically, if you are, it sounds bad, ignorant enough to be asking the question, what kind of foods should I be eating? Then foods that have a lot of fiber are probably going to be a step up from the foods that you are probably eating because your eating habits are probably shit, right? That's the longer version of, or I would say the more accurate statement in this situation. Obviously, you can't like fit that in a YouTube title, whatever. Should you never eat any fiber at all? Some people say that. Me personally, I think that there is some benefits eating fiber. Like, fiber is really just good to like flush you out if you've eaten something unhealthy. That's really what it comes down to. Like, when I was in Thailand, what I would do, I'd have my meal of meat or whatever it was. Let's just say a bunch of meat, right? And then I would go out and I would have, maybe I get some cookies, maybe I get something that's not quite as easily digested, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's because my my body's used to digesting such clean food now. But if I go and I buy some Oreos or like some cookies or something, like I'm gonna pay for it the next day. Like it's gonna be tough. So I knew that if after I ate my dessert or whatever, I knew that if I went and I got a fruit shake, which is essentially a banana, a mango, and a pineapple blended together. That's a lot of fiber in there, by the way. If I got that and drank it, all of that additional fiber sitting on top of all of the other food that I had eaten would kind of just like push everything out of me in the morning after I had my first cup of coffee. So in that case, fiber was very good for me. Now, as far as it's like I have a damaged gut, my gut is damaged, like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really read too much into this whole like gut bacteria thing. Like, I don't see it as being very hard to like quote unquote replenish your gut bacteria and make the switch to eating healthy foods and like fix your problem in a matter of days, if not weeks. Obviously, like, you know, you might need to lose some weight, blah, blah, blah. I guess for beginner advice, I don't know. I can't really say don't eat any fiber, because fiber could be a lot of things. Fiber could be popcorn, which has its uses. Fiber could be, you know, a salad, which is not bad. Salad's not bad, right? Like having a salad with a steak. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not gonna like die from that. Like, and okay, I don't know where he's going with this. Like, I don't know. He was a vegan before and was eating only vegetables or something? I don't know. Also, don't take health advice from vegans. No offense, vegans.
Ruins your gut. After being on the vegan diet for a while, I can tell you that it is not a healing diet. I lost all my muscle and got down to a dangerously low body fat level and developed every nutrient deficiency you can think of. But this video isn't being made to talk shit about the vegan diet. I just wanted to give you a brief background to let you know where I'm coming from. Now, after being on a very high fiber, whole food, plant-based diet for a long time, I switched over to the carnivore diet, which has zero fiber. And the thing is, my gut felt amazing after this switch. No more bloating, no more gas, my digestion was normal. It was incredible. It's funny because a lot of people talk about how they had to constantly use the bathroom on a high fiber diet. It was actually the opposite for me. I was extremely constipated on a high fiber diet. The no fiber actually helped heal my stomach. Then the addition of healthy fats and oils helped loosen me up. Do you know why a zero or low fiber diet actually helps heal your gut? It's because too much fiber actually tears very tiny holes in your gut, which cause the release of mucus, which helps lubricate the food through your digestive system. That is actually how fiber keeps you regular. Now, this is fine if you keep the fiber low. But when you reach the amount of fiber that vegans eat, like 60, 70, 80, 100 grams of fiber, it starts making all of these tears in your gut and eventually destroys your gut lining.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, so like here's the thing. Is like, I've mentioned this before, but I asked on 4chan a while ago. I was like, all right, let's pretend because I was like fishing for advice on like how to grow my YouTube channel. I was like, all right, let's pretend you start a YouTube channel and you have to get as famous as possible. What do you do? And I gave some choices. Choice one was like, do steroids, get really ripped, and like do videos of you working out. You know, I gave like a couple choices for people to get started. And I'll never forget it. Somebody said, they're like, pick one food and eat only that one food and say that food is the secret to your success. A little bit different than this, but a lot of people agreed with that person. They're like, do this is amazing, it's a great idea, blah, blah, blah. This is a little bit different. He's talking about the vegan diet, but the vegan diet is kind of the same, I guess, even though it's based around eliminating certain foods as opposed to focusing on only certain foods. But any of these like super restrictive diets, I don't think at their core are good, because with some exceptions. Well, honestly, I think any food, I don't want to say can be good for you, but I think all foods have their place. Even extremely unhealthy, you know, crappy like baked goods made with like shortening and like lots of sugar and chocolate, and like, I think those foods have their place as well. I think you can enjoy those foods from time to time. You know, live your life, like do your thing. You want to eat those foods here and there. Like, go ahead. They have their place, right? Is their place, you know, part of a balanced diet? Probably not. It's like special occasion food, you know? But like, I don't know why people just, they're looking for a simple solution, let's say, or an easily understood solution. And they're like, oh, I'm gonna go carnivore, I'm only gonna eat meat. And that's as much thought as I'm gonna put into like my dietary choices, which again, I understand. I do the same thing. I don't like to put a lot of thought into it either. I guess I just have a more complex set of choices within a simple set of choices, if that makes sense. Like, for example, what did I have yesterday? Yesterday I had 2 sandwiches, banh mi, right? Not my first choice of what I was gonna eat, but like, I'm in a fairly small town in Vietnam. There's no supermarkets here. There's actually 0 supermarkets here, like not a single one. There's an open air market, which I actually will go to today and probably make a little vlog about. And that's where people buy their groceries, right? But anyway, I got here, I couldn't go there last night. So like, what are my options? I have to go and find some street food vendor who supplies meat, which surprisingly is very hard to find here. and tell them to make me a sandwich with as much meat as they can stuff into the sandwich, and eat as many of those as I can in order to like get what I believe I need as a post-workout meal. So, you know, again, like I said, did I just say, oh, just give me the meat, I don't need the bread? I guess if I want to be like super autistic, I could do that, right? But like, come on, at the end of the day, like what's two baguettes gonna do, really? It's like, it's gonna destroy me that badly? Like, you know, maybe, hopefully not. I've yet to see. But I don't think so. I mean, I feel fine today. One more thing that he said about fiber, about being regular when you're on the carnivore diet. A lot of people will complain about being constipated on carnivore, and that is true with cooked meat. With raw meat, that is not the case. Raw meat, you don't, and raw eggs as well. You don't really, there's no waste. It's kind of strange, but it's like you eat the food, you don't really feel that full, you just don't want to eat anymore, and then the next day you don't poop. There's no poop. It's just not, there's just nothing there. It's kind of insane. But with cooked meat, I've noticed that that's not the case, or it's not the case. There is something there, but the amount of volume is much less as well. And that's if you're strict carnivore, like you're only eating cooked meat.
This is what happened to me. So eventually, any amount of fiber that I ate hurt my insides immensely. But then I removed the fiber for just 2 weeks. I was strictly carnivore, and after just that 2 weeks, I was able to do a lot of healing. I'm not completely healed yet. Like, do you know how long I was on that vegan diet? It's gonna take longer than 2 weeks to heal it. But this is why you shouldn't eat too much fiber. Doctors will tell you if you are constipated, oh yeah, just drink more water, add more fiber, exercise. Like, bitch, what do you think I've been doing? That's all I did on the vegan diet was add more water and fiber and exercise until I would reach a point where my stomach hurt so bad that I couldn't work out anymore. Then I would have to take a break to let my stomach heal. People are saying that Americans do not get enough fiber, and that's why we are experiencing all of these digestive problems. Like, no. I think we are eating just enough fiber. 25 grams of fiber a day and you're good. I was fine on 0 grams of fiber per day. You don't need fiber to go to the bathroom. The reason why they want you to eat more fiber is because fiber will push the old food out quicker, which will make you hungry faster, which will make you eat more often. And when you have to eat more often, you have to spend more money on.
All right, I see where he's going with this. I'm gonna say I'm gonna disagree there. You have to understand that your average American, like, will never go vegan, will never even consider going vegan, beyond it just being like a thought that flashes through their mind as they think to themselves, oh no, I'll never do that ever in a million years. I fucking love eating meat or animals, or those vegans are a bunch of pussies, whatever. Most Americans, at least, talk about Americans, they eat really unhealthy food all the time. They pay absolutely no attention to their health, or very little attention to their health. And for them, eating more fiber is a great idea. Are you kidding me? If you have, let's say, oatmeal, which has a lot of fiber, that's very healthy. Like, you know, I honestly, like, haven't really been paying too close attention to the foods that he's been eating, but like, what is this, like, tater tots? I guess this is the healthy food, like chicken and gravy. Like, what even is this? Like, eggs, okay, that's fine. These look like tater tots, and this looks like the gravy from like biscuits and gravy. Not the healthiest food choices in my opinion, but doesn't seem to be a lot of fiber here. But to think like, oh, well, the government says eat more fiber, that means that I should eat like only fiber. You know what I mean? It's like, no. Maybe what you should do is you should substitute out some of the processed food that you're eating, some of the like food that comes in colorful packaging that's not found in nature, that didn't exist 200 years ago. Maybe you should eat less of that, and you should have a salad instead, which I think is a good idea for most people who, by the way, are overweight and fat and out of shape and could stand to eat a salad, right? If you tell, what's the problem? If you tell those people, oh, actually fiber's not really the answer, like, it's like, to tell people to not eat fiber could be good advice, but not for an absolute beginner, right? It's like telling a salesperson, right? Let's say you have two salespeople, right? You have one who's extremely experienced and one who's just starting out. The same piece of advice could be incredible advice for the experienced salesperson and awful advice for the beginner. For example, if you tell, let's take the piece of advice if you're not feeling well, if you don't feel like being here today, just go home. Right? If you say that to a beginner who has no experience, he's going to go home in like the first 10 minutes. He's like, oh my God, like I called and they hung up on me. Oh, I've been calling for 20 minutes and nobody's answered my call. I feel really bad. They're going to go home and that's going to be it. They're going to quit their job. But if you tell an experienced salesperson who's been doing the job for years, if you don't feel good today, if you don't want to do it, go home. That's fine, because he's been doing it for years. He's got a lot more references of like positive experiences where, you know, he knows he's going to be back at work the next day. You know, he knows he's done well before. So like, yeah, you don't want to work today, like go ahead, dog, it's fine. You know, did 20,000 in production last month, like it's fine. You understand? This is kind of the same thing. Like if you tell somebody who's extremely athletic, who maybe just happens to be making some of the incorrect food choices, not processed food, just happens to be eating a lot more fiber than they should because they've heard it's good, you say, yeah, go ahead, reduce the fiber. Like this guy seems like he's like been working out. He's like working out through this whole thing, like athletic training, goes to the gym, blah, blah, blah. For a guy like that, yeah, you could tell him, go ahead, eat less fiber, eat more, I don't know, whatever this is, right? But if you tell some extremely fat, overweight, out of shape person, oh, just don't eat any fiber, all they're going to do is eat a bunch of meat, I don't know, I think those people should eat a lot of fiber, right? Like eat your salad, or just don't eat, really, is the best solution.
Food. That is why the government pushes all these whole grains like oatmeal and brown rice so hard, because they want you to eat more so they make more money. I sound like one of those conspiracy nuts, like fiber's the devil, don't trust the government. You know, but just letting you know, you don't need to eat more fiber. Too much fiber is actually an irritant to the gut. Don't listen to what people are telling you. What we need to do is just eat healthier foods. Whether you just eat meat, fruits, vegetables, like just make sure that it's coming from a good source. That is the real issue here. Don't get your meat from Burger King. Get it from a local farmer, or at least make sure that it is grass-fed and grass-finished, organic, pasture-raised, organic fruits and vegetables. You don't want to be taking in all of those pesticides. Anyways, you know, I'm rambling here. Now the point is, you don't need fiber in your diet. I mean, babies pooped on nothing but breast milk, right? I pooped on nothing but meat and honey. Like, fancy that. But you know what? That's all I had to say today. Just remember, keep lifting, keep gaming, and I'll see you in the next video.
You know, I like this guy's like all these anime clips. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I kind of like it. Yeah. One thing that I thought he said just now that was interesting was that he pooped on meat and honey. I read, again, this is also from 4chan's Fitboard, where there was a thread about carbs or keto or something like that. And somebody made a comment where they said that they would eat only meat and they would have no carbs, and the only carbs they would have would be like, I think the number was 50 grams of sugar per day. 50 grams of honey per day. I'm not exactly sure how much honey that is, like how much is in the little squeeze bottle or whatever. And they said, oh my God, benefits were amazing, blah, blah, blah. But like, it kind of made me think, because, you know, honey is one of these, let's call it a superfood, right? That has like all this weird, like all these all this like crazy shit in it that like is very good for you, right? But because honey is generally used as a sweetener or as a garnish, really, we don't consume it in very large doses. So it's kind of like, it's one of the few exceptions, I guess you could say, where if a little bit is good, maybe a lot is like really good, and you should consider that. But anyway, as is my recent custom, I will be leaving a comment on this video, and I will say, great video, man. Good to see another weeb out there who is also into fitness. Keep it up, brah. Yeah, anyway, this was good. I don't know why you shouldn't eat fiber. I think you should have, I don't think you should completely like rule out fiber altogether. But, you know, should you eat only fiber like a vegan? Probably not. But a little bit is good, like oatmeal. Like, I don't know, I'm going to disagree there and say that oatmeal is an incredible food, especially if you're training very hard. Like, very few foods that I found, like in terms of like a carb source, like, I don't know, I personally prefer oatmeal to potatoes, just because oatmeal is prepared much easier and can generally be prepared without oil, which potatoes normally need to be prepared with oil, unless I guess you could microwave a potato or put it in the oven. But who wants to wait 45 minutes to make a fucking potato? Whereas oatmeal, you literally just take some oats, put some water in that. A minute later you have a meal. Anyway, good video. Who told me to do this? Thomas H, right? Thank you, Thomas H. You guys have any other recommendations for videos or YouTubers you want me to take a look at? Let me know. Peace.